Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to season 3 of Top Talk.
I'm still trying to share the thing. Wait.
So, we're very excited for this new round of talks, and this time we have with us the amazing Daniel Borak.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello,
Great.
hello.
So, we need to wait a little bit, or so I need to stop bouncing. Sorry. It's too much. Hey, somebody's here. Oh, we had again the subtitles. That's amazing.
Subtitles?
On Facebook, yes.
Oh, nice.
That's
With
nice.
all the sounds. Fascinating. So the topic of these 3 talks is gonna be. Should I say it? Should you say it?
You say it.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
So, we have chosen to bring in Daniel because he has a bit of a different path than us. He has been for a long time involved in the championships. So we figured that we bring in an expert on this topic, and we immediately thought of Daniel. So it's a really pleasure to have you on the show, and we are so excited of everything that we're going to talk about and the stories and all the things. So
also adding to this, because we decided for this next season to talk about Europe. I think it's really interesting and not hiding the thing that there's a lot of people involved in championships and competing. There's a bunch of places that they're not used to get in relation with that, but I think it's not a thing to hide. So I think just like putting the topic on the table, bringing Daniel, and just like listening and asking and talking around this thing, maybe it could be nice for everybody, for both kind of communities. Yeah. Yay.
Nice. Yes.
Yay.
Very nice.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Done. I'm done.
All right. That was great. See you. Bye.
That's great.
Yeah. I like it.
Short and precise.
So it's what it is. People that is in the live with us, you can ask if you have suddenly a question around the thing that we are talking, or you're curious about something, just drop the question and we'll go to it. Yep.
And I can remind also we have a small PayPal link if anybody want to give a small donation. It just goes to keeping the show alive, that's all. So yeah. That's okay.
Is there like do you have a specific question, or should I just start to talk and you stop me whenever you want to stop
I think
me?
we decided to start. I think it's really interesting how you like your own path in tap dancing, because it's I think it's really unique, and how you be in touch like with both sides. And I think you can start talking about your path and your little history, and we'll stop you, don't worry.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I think it would make sense to start not directly with me, but with a little bit of my mother's story, because my mom she's not from Switzerland. She's from the Czech Republic, and she was a professional ballet dancer in the Czech Republic. First, she did like a conservatory, and then she was working in a theater for 10 years. And it was during communism. So a lot of things from outside the Czechoslovakia, it was Czechoslovakia back then, were like not really, you could say not really allowed. So that means, for example, the only dance style that she was in touch with was, of course, the classical ballet. And maybe a little bit of folkloric dances also, but ballet was the main thing. And she remembers that there was actually once there was tap dance was like in like in the program somewhere, but it was like crossed with a red color. It was crossed. It was not. Yeah, again, like unofficially, you could say it was not allowed. It was something coming from the West. Anyways, in the year 81, my mother and my parents, they decided to leave the Czech Republic and escape. And they had a crazy escape story, how they escaped from Czechoslovakia and came to Switzerland. And my mother decided to, again, she had a career of 10 years. She was dancing as a fixed member of a ballet ensemble, and she was like 7 days a week on stage. I'm sure that was great. Anyways, she like said, I'm gonna stop my career and go to Switzerland and try to open up a dance school. And so that happened in 83. So first 2 years after they escaped, she made it to find a room, a space, and then she started like with nothing, not knowing the language here, not knowing people. She really started from zero to build a school. And so what she did, she was very surprised that so many dance styles were accessible in Switzerland. So the first time she had the chance to take a jazz class, or a modern class, and later also a hip hop class or a breakdance class, because all of those things were not accessible in the Czech Republic in that time. So when she came here, she like started to educate herself, and when she started to have the school, so she was already like running the school and at the same time trying and learning many new styles. And so one year, in the year 94, she already had the dance school for a couple of years and it was going well. But in the year 94, there was like a summer workshop in Zurich in a big school. And that was for tap dance, like absolute beginners, like completely, just to try. And my mother took the whole intensive, the whole week, and she just fell in love with tap dance. And she stayed in touch with the teacher, and that was Sandy Kaiser. She's from Schaffhausen. It's a city here in Switzerland. And so she asked Sandy Kaiser to be her teacher. So my mother took private tap classes for around a year with Sandy. And I was 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and I was like always at the studio. I grew up in the studio basically because the school is under the apartment where I grew up. Downstairs in the basement is that school, is the studio. So of course I saw that my mother like found a new thing and she was tap dancing, but I didn't really, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention until one day some of her students, as she told some of her students that she started to tap, and then they asked her, could you show us some basics? And because my mother was practicing some basics herself, she just thought, well, it's the best way to practice is to show it to someone. So she started to teach those basics in her own dance school. And in one of those classes, I was at the studio and I saw her teach tap dance for the first time. And she taught shuffle, ball change, shuffle, hop, step, shuffle, ball. So and I saw that and I tried it, and somehow right away I was able to do the step. I did the weight change. I did the weight change correctly. The rhythm was correct. Everything just somehow, so I just tried it for myself. And after the class, I showed it to my mother, and she saw that I did the step just naturally. I did it perfectly, like right away. So she thought, oh, maybe there is some talent, or yeah. So then I was too shy to go and take class with all the other girls. I was a young boy. I was shy. So my mother just taught me some steps that she was also practicing, like a cramp roll. She taught me somewhere in the supermarket when we were standing in line. She taught me the cramp roll and another step when we were waiting for the bus, or yeah, so on and so forth. And then eventually I started to take the class that she was teaching with other kids. And this was my very beginning. But I never saw a tap dance movie before. There was no a moment where I don't remember a movie that I saw. That was really the first touch with tap dance. And and I just danced in her class for 2-3 years, and it was just fun. And for me, somehow it was just easy. I just did it naturally, right? And then my mother all of a sudden found out that there is apparently a Swiss championship, that there is a championship in Switzerland for tap dance, and that was completely new information. And my mother somehow accidentally she saw it somewhere, and in the last second she like called there and said that we would like to come, and she decided that I will do a solo. I would just dance in the category children. I would do a solo, and it was actually a group dance that she was working on with me and the other kids in that class, but I just went there, and we were very late. My mother lost the way because there was no navigation, no internet, no nothing. So she got lost in traffic, and somehow we found the place, and somehow we made it backstage, and the championship was already running. And then they said, "Oh, you are Borak, Daniel Borak? Okay, yeah, you called. Okay, you still want to dance? Really? You're okay, so hurry up, you have to go on stage." So I quickly changed and I jumped on stage, and that was my first Swiss championship. And this was like, I don't know, it was like a door opened to the first door opened to like a little bit a larger room, or like the universe got a little bigger. Before, I only knew our little school and my mom, who was tap dancing, and her teacher and the other kids in my class. That was my only tap dance little frame, my little tap dance world. And then the next step was Swiss championship. And it was,
how old were you at this time?
I was 8. That was 8. When I was 8 in the year 98. And
but like how many, like, what was it like since you started like receiving these little steps till the championship? Like years, or you will tell me like right now months, and I will say, okay, that's fine. But
2 weeks.
How many times? In 2 weeks, like I just let the shuffleboard change, and then I did a solo.
No. So when I learned this shuffleboard change, this moment was when I was 5. Around. Okay. And so so 3 years later, that moment came. Oh, there's a Swiss championship, and so of course I was tap dancing for those 3 years, and so at the Swiss championship, I remember I was amazed, because I thought, wow, there are so many other tap schools in Switzerland, and Switzerland is a very small country, but we have the language situation is very interesting here, because we speak the part where I'm from. This is in the Swiss German part, so we speak German, but every little state has a little bit a different accent. There's a different melody in that Swiss German. Yeah. So for me, it was also the first time, for example, tap dancers from Bern, they have a completely different melody in their Swiss German. It was the first time for me that I met people from Bern and talked to them, and actually I had a hard time understanding them. And then there were tap dancers from the French part that only spoke French. That was, it was just a big thing. It was, first of all, seeing so many other tap dancers in all ages and groups and different styles and different steps, and it was very exciting. And then also just the fact that I've met so many people from all around the country, from all around Switzerland, and hearing those different Swiss German dialects, that was very interesting. And already there, I remember that I saw my first tap dance hero. It was Andreas Jakobetz. He was doing a solo in the category like adults solo men, and he won. And I remember he did pullbacks on one leg, gagang, And I thought, wow, how is he doing this? He's on one leg, he jumps in the air, he touches the floor and then he lands again. And when I got the tape, I had to show to all of my friends and people and family. I showed them, look what he's doing. He's like, bam, bam. That was incredible, So yeah, so thanks to that event, thanks to this Swiss championship, it was just a little eye opener. Yeah. And it was great, because until today, I'm friends. I'm in touch with people that I've met in the year 1989. Until this day, we are in touch. They are my part of the until today of the Swiss tap community, and those are great memories that I can share with them. Yeah, and so just why I wanted to quickly mention my mom is that she has this amazing, how can I say, way of thinking that when she sees somewhere, hey, there's a workshop, there's this event or this, let's go there, let's see it, let's try, she always, when she sees somewhere something exciting or something to learn, or she always was, hey, let's go, let's be, she was always so curious. Yeah, so also because of her curiosity, I had the chance to, because later the next thing that started was we started to see that there were a lot of workshops happening. A lot of people from outside the country were brought to Switzerland to teach. People from Germany. I remember Victor Cuno from France. He came many times. I took often his lessons. Who else? There was once there was someone from the Tap Dogs. I don't remember which one it was, but there was a workshop.
You remember who organized these workshops? That's like, it was dance schools or something coming from the championship?
There is one person in Zurich was René Fürstenfeld. René Fürstenfeld, he organized a lot of workshops with Victor Cuno, for example. So I remember being there as a young Danny many times, taking classes, and then the thing is that my mother also, she started, when she started to tap, she was 41 years old. Yeah, she started very late. So, and after a while, she realized that she taught me everything that she knew in that time, but she wanted that I continue to learn. So that's why those workshops started to be important. And also she started to see, she met, for example, Regine Ochsner. Regine Ochsner is a very important person in the tap dance community. She was the one who organized the Zurich Tap Festival a few years ago. And she was also the one who organized a lot of workshops. And she used to bring, she's bringing Barbara Duffy's for so many years already, Lane Alexander. And then again, people that started to come to the Zurich Tap Festival. She was one of the organizers and one person that was very important in my path. But maybe before the next step, maybe after the Swiss championship revolution, the next one was in the year 2000. We got the message that there is a world championship in Germany, and because in that year I won the Swiss championship, they said, well, Danny, you qualified. There is a world championship, and because you won, you're qualified to go. Do you want to go? Do you not want to go? Ba ba bam. And we heard about it, and then because again, my mom and me also, we were so curious, and we thought, what? There's a world championship, okay, and so then we went there to Germany, and so from the Swiss championship, then Riesa came, the world champs in Germany, and so that was again, the universe got bigger. It was the first time I saw people from the US, people from South Africa, from Canada, from all around Europe, Croatia, Germany, who was there, Italy, and then so many countries. And I was there, it was just my mom and I, and there were whole teams, big formations, big, it was crazy, and hearing all the different languages, but then seeing everybody on stage, and again see so many different styles, so many different types of choreography, so many different ways how to tap dance to all kinds of musics. It was very interesting. This is when I was 11 years old. And from that moment on, I had my second big tap dance hero, who was Fabrice Martin. He's also from Switzerland, from Lausanne, from the French part. And when I went there for the first time, it was his last time competing. And he won for the 6th time, I think, in a row in solos. And he did an incredible number. And after also his solo, I watched it so many times when we finally received the tape. I remember when he performed that solo, there were maybe 2,000 people in the audience. He danced the solo, the people jumped up, he got a standing ovation, you know, and I was little. For me, all of this whole experience was, you know, it was crazy. And I remember so many details. I still, you know, I just still see it. And then again, I was waiting for a month or two to get the tape. And then again, I showed this solo of Fabrice to everybody. I just had to make sure that everybody saw this solo until I really broke the tape.
Oh.
I watched this until I broke the tape. So again, an event that was a championship was very left, like, how can I say, left an impact on me. It was, you know, I saw all kinds of steps that I just thought, I have to try this and try that, and this person did a wing like this, and you know, so it was very inspiring for me when I was little. And in that time, it was the biggest tap dance thing happening around. Yeah, I think there were festivals already in Germany, I think in Berlin or something, but somehow this information didn't get to us. You know, we knew that there is the Swiss Championship and the World Championship, and my mom and I, we were the ones that went like exploring those things. And then because my mother has a dance school, of course we told it to our students, and then the next effect was that the students wanted to have the same experience. Yeah, and all of a sudden we realized, wow, okay, there's a new goal, because my mother always did shows. She always created big shows with all of her students, and she choreographed like 50 pieces, jazz pieces, tap pieces. She created like her own style in all of those things, and she created those big things. But then all of a sudden, with those championships, a second goal appeared in the history of her dance school, where all of a sudden the students were motivated. Hey, I would like to, let's show a number there. Let's create a little group number and just go and just present it, you know? So yeah, those events, they had a big impact on me, but also on our school. And it was nice because the event, of course, it's a lot of work. You work on the number, you work on the choreography, it's like a test. It was, for me, championships were always like a test in school. You know, on that date, I have to have the solo, the duo, or the trio, the group number. I have to have it ready. I have to know my stuff. And I have to practice, and then I go on stage, and then there are the judges and the audience, and you know, and it's a performance. That's all it is. It's a performance, and there are, you know, those judges and everything, and it's a championship. So you know, it's exciting, and many people, we just all had much fun with that, and especially we met so many friends, again, in the tap dance community in Switzerland. I have, because of those events, and because we went there yearly. And so you grow together, you know, the boys that like danced against me, that we became friends, and it was great to see who did what kind of progress during a year, what kind of new number are they going, is this school going to create, or that school. And with the years, I could tell, oh, this style is typical from Bern, that this is like a style from them. This is a style from Lausanne. This is style from Aarau. This is what we do. You know, everybody started to have their own way of choreographing, of creating numbers. And then the same also at the World Championships. You could see the different dialects in the choreographies. And I always found that very interesting. And I'm sorry, you see, I'm talking like crazy. Do you have a question? I'm sorry, I could go on.
People is listening. People is
here. We have like no questions, so I think everybody's just like, okay.
All right. I mean,
I think if you want to breathe a little bit, there's like a lot of things. For me, it's really interesting how you can talk about the people, and you're saying like even we're competing against, we're friends. And that's the thing that we're talking lately, like the connections and the people that you have around. So maybe there's a thought that, oh, they're competing, they're not creating like community. And as we listen to you, you can see that's not true. So that's really interesting. Connections can be built in any place. Like just
I think
it's a thought.
I mean I can only speak for myself and out of my perspective, and also so maybe I go a little further in time, and so now I spoke about this crazy world championship, first experience, first time world championship. This was in the year 2000. I think in the year 2000 we still did not have a computer at home, or did we? Internet? I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I just remember that all of a sudden, I mean, then having a computer at home became a thing. Having internet became a thing. So I remember that, okay, all of a sudden, this is just the next thing. I'm sitting at the computer, there is internet. So I was curious and I just typed in tap dance. And then I remember I found a website. I don't remember the name of that website. But then I see very short videos in a very bad quality. And I see Gregory Hines. Okay, I press and I see him dance. Bill Robinson, Chuck Green, Savion Glover, Buck and Bubbles, many very short videos. And I'm thinking, wow, what is this? Who are those people? I did not know anything. I thought, this is crazy. And they dance again. They dance differently. And, you know, so through the internet became then something where I started to, where the universe got a little bigger, yeah, where I saw, okay, so, and this is an old video, and it was like step by step I started to realize, wow, there is a whole history, and you know, and then I started to realize, okay, this tap dance, I don't know, somehow it happened naturally that I just realized that this world championship world is not everything. It's just a part of a bigger picture. You know, I saw how they dance with musicians and what the rhythms they do, and it's so interesting and complex and different than everything that I saw at the championships. So I just had a natural, I just liked it, but I realized this is completely different. This is a completely different thing that is going on at the championships. And so somewhere around that time, it was also that Regine Ochsner brought Barbara Duffy to Zurich, and I took a class with her. And then, I mean, that was crazy. And she was speaking about, okay, musicality, accents here, dynamics, improvisation. She talked about Gregory Hines, Savion Glover, and I thought, whoa, I found a page on the internet with those names, and now she's telling me about it. I started to make connections. I remember once there was also an event that Regina organized in her studio in Zurich, and she showed us the scenes from the movie Tap, you know, the challenge scene. And then also Gregory's audition solo in the movie where he does the audition and he goes off with the piano player. And you know, I just remember again this realization that okay, the championships are nice and it's a great platform to go to practice. You practice your stuff, you try to do it as clean and nicely as possible. You go on stage, you show it. That's a great exercise. That's a great process. But there's a complete different world. And then because I started to know the people better and better in Switzerland, I realized that many of them have been in the US before. So, for example, my mother's teacher, Sandy Kaiser, Regina Ochsner, Fabrice Martin from Lausanne, Andreas Jakobetz, all of those, Lukas Weiss, he's also the tap dance juggler. Yeah. So many of them, I heard their stories that they had some time in the US. Victor Kuno, who worked with Henry Lee Tang, Regina Ochsner studied with Henry Lee Tang. Many other people had a background in their younger tap dance life where they were in the US learning from some of the masters. And so at the Swiss championships, there was always this feeling that we are realistic. We know that there is a world outside the competition world, that if you win, of course you're good, or it's nice that you win. Also, when you win the world championships, okay, but you're not, you win this title of this particular event, and this event is called the World Championship of Tap Dance. But we always somehow, it was clear that, yes, it's great that you win, congratulations, and well done, good job. But like being the best tap dancer on earth, that's something that doesn't make sense, because somehow it was always clear for me from very young age, and especially when I started to choreograph myself, I realized, wow, I'm being creative. This is an art form. This is I have an idea. I have a creative idea. I find my own way how to create this step, this solo, this piece to this music. And I started to get very young. I don't know. I just started to understand, hey, this is an art form, and there's not like soccer, two teams. This team does four scores more than the other, so this team wins. There is no question. But in tap dance, it's those 7 judges that decide, and if you would replace those 7 judges, the results would be different, So me personally, of course, I was happy of course you're happy when you win, of course, and and of course you're a little disappointed if you don't get to the finales, yes, but just somehow I had the chance to quickly realize that there is a bigger picture in this tap dance universe, and so again, the next thing that happened that made the universe a little larger is when Barbara Duffy, for example, told in one of her workshops, well, there is a festival in New York, Tap City, you should check it out. There is Tap City. And we think, festival, what, in New York? Wow, this is very far away. How do we do that? And so after long talks and discussions, we decided, you know what, let's go and check out this festival. And so in 2006, how old was I? I don't remember. 10 years, 15, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that. Wow. Tap Festival in New York, Tap City. And again, again, the universe expanded. And I saw improvisation like with my own eyes. I to this point, I was already, I knew about some videos. I watched some videos on the internet, but it was with my own eyes, witnessing someone tap dancing with the jazz trio, improvising, I remember seeing Guillem Alonso at this festival, also sand dance. What? Max Pollack with his art. And I thought, so many things. I think Cristiani Matallo was there also. She played the saxophone and tapped at the same time. So many things. And so again, my how can I say, my feeling or just my understanding that the championships are just a part of tap dance, of our tap dance universe. But still knowing that or realizing that, I kept on participating there, because my mother, after a while, she was choreographing all of my solos and stuff. But when I was 13, I remember she couldn't find like a nice ending with one of my solos. But I had the idea, and she said, do it, do your step. It's fine. Create it yourself. And then when I was 14, she said, just choreograph it, just do it. Because all of a sudden, I started to have fun with creating those pieces, those routines my own way. And the championships gave me a platform to show it. It was just a platform to present this small group or a trio or a duo. And this became such a big motivation for me. And what actually happened, it was always, I started to compete with myself, always just competing, saying, I would like to create a more interesting solo for next year. I did this, so the next year has to be a little bit more, I don't know, maybe musically complex or harder technically, I don't know. And then again, a little bit harder and a little bit more interesting. And all the things I learned at the festivals, I worked on that. I practiced. I remember, so 2006 was Tab City. 2 years later, 2008 was Chicago for the first time. First time, Derek K. Grant, Dormisha Sambri Edwards, Jason Samuel Smith, Sam Weber for the first time, Ted Levy, and young Nico was with me in class. He was bored while I was dying,
Oh.
Chicago 2008 was crazy, was an explosion in Jason Samuel Smith's class. First time hearing the name Steve Condos and learning some of his exercises, Dormisha did something in 7, and I didn't understand what that means. What does mean 7? 7? Okay, 7. So she was teaching it.
What?
7. Super, super crazy hard. She was in the middle. We were standing around her in a circle, and she danced it, and I was faking Ursina, my duo partner. I danced with Ursina for many years. Ursina Meyer, she was with me there also, and we were like faking, shaking and faking, those 4 or 6 bars in 7. And then Dormisha said, "Okay, now do it on the left." And we thought, what? What does she mean on the left? And so we realized, wow, okay, this is something you can do. And everybody around us just did it on the left. And I remember she asked, is there anybody who would like to demonstrate this routine on the left? And we all were scared. And Nico just, I would like to try, So Nico came and did the thing on left and easy. And I just couldn't believe it. So the connection with the Chicago festival was also through Regina, because she was inviting Lane Alexander for many years. And he, of course, told everybody about the festival. So that was like the next thing. So all of a sudden and then after Chicago, I took all of this information home and I just practiced all of this like crazy, because I thought, wow, this is so amazing and so great. And so of course I was practicing this, and I started to somehow change the steps, make it my own, and put it in my new choreographies. And those choreographies I presented at the World Championships and Swiss Championships. And people came to me and said, "Daniel, this is amazing. How do you come up with those steps?" And I said, well, I didn't come up with them. This is material inspired by amazing teachers I met at those amazing festivals. I told everybody at the World Champs that talk to me, go to the festivals. It's incredible, and it was very separated. I remember that you were either part in the community, or just you were more interested in participating in festivals, and other people were more interested in participating at championships. And I just thought, wow, both of those worlds they meant so much to me. They mean a lot to me, and today I'm really in between. Those experiences at all the festivals were crazy, super crazy important to me, but all the experiences at the championships as well. So, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Again, I stop here and I ask if you guys have questions.
People, wake up. No? Okay.
Wow.
But Iselin wrote something that is really interesting. You were the one writing this, no? Iselin?
No, I thought you wrote it. But
No, who wrote it?
Alexis wrote it.
Come on!
He sent me a message for some reason my comments shows a tap talk.
I thought it was there's a comment here. It's from Alexis. It's her husband. But I thought it was Iselin. Iselin is writing here. That's great. But no. She's not. No, it was not me neither. So there's a bunch of things that you're saying inside of thing, and this is one of it. We shared that on. Well, we just
I can share it. There you go.
Oh.
It's
So
not us.
he says that nowadays people take for granted how easy it is to find things on the net. Back in the days, there was so much excitement about finding into info, cherishing, and valuing all you could learn, which is true. Like what you say about passing around the tape, showing people this and this solo until it was broken, that doesn't happen anymore. And people just, expect that it's on YouTube all the time.
Yeah, another funny story is from the year 2000, my first world championship experience there. So again, Fabrice Martin was like my first big hero, but there was another dancer from Canada that I really liked, and we were actually in touch. David Cox from Canada. He did a beautiful solo in the year 2000 and an amazing duo, and that duo is, until this day, maybe my favorite duo piece, like of those, championship pieces. It's so cool. And I remember I loved the song, and there was no way how I could find out what the name of the song is, because I just had the cassette and I had the solo, the duo piece on that cassette, on the tape. And it was Are You That Somebody by Aaliyah. I just loved the song, and I loved how they choreographed it, but I didn't know the name. I didn't know the singer. There was nothing. So what I did, we took the tape and we went to music stores here around the town that had a TV in their store where you could put a tape in. And so what we did, we went with that World Championship tape to music stores. We played it, and we asked the people working at the music store, hey, do you recognize this song? Could you tell us?
Sweet.
And for 2 years, we didn't find out until David Cox. He was in Switzerland to do a workshop, and I went there. I took the workshop, and I asked him somehow. I had no English back. I needed someone who translated, and then he wrote it on a little piece of paper. He said, Aaliyah, Are You That Somebody? And then I had it, and I took it to a record store, and then I asked, and then I bought it, So that was also that today you just Shazam it, and you know instantly what song it is. And there it was like a project to find out what's the name of this tune, So yeah, it's very interesting. And so again, it was one side is, my mom, who was so open and about looking around what events, okay, let's go, let's check it out. And through that also we met Regina Oxner, and then because of the amazing work that Regina Oxner always did, and also her, how can I say, one of her main students is Ursina, and then we started to dance together, and it was we just became good friends. And the experience 2006 in New York was Regine, my mother, Ursina, and I. In Chicago, it was the same. My parents were there, Regina was there, Ursina was there, and some more friends. And this, we were the people that went to, because you have to calculate. It was a flight, you have to pay for everybody, you have to find a hotel, then you have to pay the classes, and that's the only way you have access to classes with those teachers. So you have to take money and go, and I was just fortunate and lucky that it was possible, that the financial opportunity was there. It was, but other people, maybe they wanted to go there also so bad, but it was not possible. So it's also later, of course, the festivals also here in Europe started to grow, and the festival scene. But in that time, the big festivals you heard about was all in the US, and and then and 2011 was my first time in Los Angeles, and that was also my first cutting contest, for example. That was also crazy. And it was so interesting that at this cutting contest, at this festival, there was another young dancer from the Czech Republic. Her name is Katarzyna Fialova, I think. I hope I'm saying it right. Yeah, Katarzyna Fialova. she was there. She was still very young, and she was also at the festival. And I know her from the World Championships, you know. And so I thought, this is great. This is so cool to see someone at a festival that I know from the championship world. So slowly, somehow, this started to happen. And I remember she won the cutting contest in LA. And that was very interesting to see that, okay, in this, so someone who's really good in the championship world, because she won a lot of titles, and so she went into the festival world, let's call it this way. She participated at the cutting contest, and she won it like in the kids category. It was like the lowest like I don't know, I don't remember how it was called, but still she did it great. So in that time, slowly 2010, 11, and then and all the years after, of course, until today, it started to go more and more, and people, and today I see so many people I see in Riesa at the World Champs, I see around also all around at the festival. So now the worlds are more connected. But back then, I felt like, wow, this is, it's a little separated. And I had the chance to grow up somehow in both, you know. Of course, more in the championship world first, but then, And in 2009, I competed the last time. 2009 was my last year in Riesa, where I did a solo, a duo, a trio, a small group, a formation, a production, all of those things. And then from 2010 on, I did not compete anymore, and improvisation came into my life, and then a new journey began. But so. Interesting. I
think it's very interesting how you managed to actually find all this information outside the championship community, because, as you say, it wasn't any resources to really find all those things, not as available as it is now. So, I mean, I feel like you're one of the special few who managed to really grab hold of both communities without.
Well, yes, but also just thanks to people that come and speak about it, you know, because Barbara Duffy came to Switzerland, was teaching, we took the workshop, and she told us, hey, you should go to a festival, you know. She told people, it was the information basically always came from a person to the next person, like orally, people were saying about it. And I just realized until today, I think that this is still, because today you can advertise in so many ways. Yeah, we have social media, we have emails, we have TV, we have radio, we have so many media forms where you can promote and do advertising. But I think, and of course, all of those ways are great. Don't get me wrong, but still, until this day, if I have a person who tells me something exciting about something, this has still the biggest impact. And I mean, like, really talking to me, that I sit down with a person, or I speak to someone directly, and this person tells me about an event or something, and then this is something that's so there were amazing people around me. I was fortunate to have great people that, you know, were sharing information, sharing stuff, and this is how, you know, step by step, one thing happened after the other. So
I think we don't need, like, even we have all these platforms and all these things, I think it's a thing that we don't need to lose, like the sharing on the oral thing. And it's still happening, like, because there's a lot of information that people don't know how to, like, unveil the whole thing. So they're lost, and maybe they will drop in some festival that maybe, like, it's not a thing for them right now. It's nothing to do, like, it's not the time for them to go there, for example, for some knowledge, blah blah blah. So it's interesting when you go through a specific experience, you share it, and maybe there's people inside of the community that didn't receive that information. So it's great. It happened to me with the pillow. When I went, I think the people in Barcelona that knew about this was Ivan and nobody else. And that's it. So I went to the pillow. It was 2017. Yes. And suddenly it was fun. Like a lot of people, like younger dancers, is like, oh, that's a thing. So suddenly they start like, oh, I want to apply. I want to go to there, because they knew I was there. And also I was sharing like, that's a great experience to go. So suddenly it was an interest, and because of the full information, like a lot of information on the net, maybe you will not find Jacob's Pillow. So I think that's important, and not take and keep it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I have to say, I'm sometimes I'm a little overwhelmed with information that is out in the internet, because it's a lot. Yeah. And I mean, I find myself often that I miss things, or I couldn't watch this, or I missed that event, or, there are a lot of podcasts also, there are a lot of talks, there are a lot of so many things. And I really have to say that also, I mean, I'm not able to keep up with everything. So until this day, it's my phone or the computer can, there are so many things, but still I realize that when I have the chance to sit down with someone and have a eye-to-eye conversation, those are having beautiful talks is talking in real life. I know now it's hard with COVID and everything, but but at least we have this is beautiful. But yeah,
I did something, for example, with and had like online lessons with a group of people. So we created a Facebook group, and every time I found something that was interesting for them, I shared that thing. But instead of like sharing everything, I said like, maybe this week you can go here in this talk or this event or something like this. So they don't need to like navigate in the whole thing that right now it's going on, because maybe they don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
So I was putting like little drops, little nuggets.
Things.
Okay, boom. You can maybe check that thing. So maybe like being responsible, if you have students or people like under your umbrella, making sure at least they cover like the basic information. So making sure like, I think that's important for you to know. So go there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So this little responsible is not like gutting the wings and say like, no, just watch this. It's like, if you want like suggestion, I'll say like point in some way.
Yeah.
And decide.
But I mean, that was our initial thought with this project a year ago. That's why we started this, because everybody went into lockdown and
yes, tada, like Kate, tada is the hashtag of the group. Sorry, but Iselin, you sent me that. Like, it was 1 year ago that we started.
Yes, I was suddenly, when you were talking about, sharing things and stuff, I was like, shit, when did we start this thing? And we started actually exactly a year ago, because we wanted to share with our students when we couldn't be in the studio.
Nice.
So we started exactly a year ago. Yeah, where's the candle?
Birthday.
Happy birthday to us. Okay. Sorry. So yeah. That's a really interesting thing. Alexis wrote the same thing.
Yeah, he finally managed to switch to his own profile. So.
Great, Alexis. I have a couple of questions because a lot of things that Daniel was sharing is the mind-blowing situations that he experienced with the championship and then with the festivals. But we know, like I know, like Iselin and me we didn't grow inside of this thing. I had like the same kind of situations, but out of this. So maybe talking on these situations that suddenly is like, boom, what's going on? What's yours, Iselin? Like, you remember a specific point that your mind was like blown away, or like the universe like spanned? Tap universe. I got you.
Yeah, you got me. Let me think. Because in the beginning, I started tap dancing just because we had to choose like tap or hip hop or stuff like this next to ballet and jazz in the company. So that's why I started. I figured like, okay, I'm more of a tap dancer maybe than a hip hop dancer. So I just did it as a good soldier in the beginning. But my first experience was definitely my teacher at that time was Gry. And she talked so much about the the festival, because 1 year before she had fallen in love with Barcelona and the festival and everything. So I was on vacation in France with my family, and Gry was like, you have to come, you have to come, you have to come. She loved Barcelona. I was like, okay, sure, I can come down for 3 days. And I went to the festival, and I was just like, what? This is a new world. This is not what I experienced home in Norway. This is completely new. And I totally fell in love. And after that, it was Barcelona and Stockholm every year and everything, you know, could grab a hold on. So I think that was like my first whoa moment. Yeah.
That's interesting. Like your path was like learning in school, like just like tap lessons.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
no festival, there's no championship in Norway, no?
There is, but it's very, very small. I mean, I don't know many people who has competed. Jan Anders, that you know, I know he competed 1 year. But other than that, we don't really have, because you have to have like a, what do you call it? Like a organization that is connected with the community to participate, and we don't really have that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's no really any competitions. The tap that we have has kind of bloomed for the last 15 years on stage in musicals and stuff like this. As you can see here, Kjersti is my tap mama and Norway's tap mama. And she said that during the 90s when she was teaching, it was hard to find anything, you know? You had to go and search for it yourself, travel and talk to people and all these things. So
yeah, I think I talked today with a student. We talked about it, that also just running a dance school or just creating an event. The thing is, I remember that when my mother wanted to advertise for her classes to like get more new students for the dance school, so you do this little advertisement for the newspapers, for the local newspapers, yeah. And we knew that everybody's reading that newspaper, so you pay a lot of money to have this little thing in the newspaper where it says, for example, tap dance lessons for beginners this day. The first 2 lessons are for free, just to try. This is the address, boom, yeah. So in those days, or in that time, you just, all you have is this little thing in the newspaper. And if I'm really curious and I think, wow, tap dance, I would love to try that. And okay, this is the address, this is the date, this is the place. So to find out, I have to physically go there, yeah? I have to arrange my trip, find this address, go there, and step into the room and see, what is this? Yeah, so this is how it was going on. Today, when you see somewhere new classes in this studio, everybody, first of all, takes the phone, Googles the studio, the name, and you can check reviews, you can check their schedule, you find maybe some videos on YouTube, maybe they have an Instagram channel, they have a Facebook something, yeah. So you see, and very quickly you can like get an idea what's going on, and you can decide, I mean, it's nothing for me. Or the opposite, of course, you can think, oh wow, this is great, I want to go there, of course. But it was just so different that people, to find out, they just had to physically come, yeah. And the same with the event. What, there's a Swiss championship, a world championship, there's a festival, and there is no internet or something where you can see a video of it. You just have to experience it. You just have to travel there and see it with your own eyes, yeah. And so I think maybe in that time there was a little bit more magic happening. I don't know. It was more surprising maybe when you arrive there and you see the people. And I remember also once there was a workshop in Germany. I was little, I don't remember the year. And then there was I think it was in Freiburg in Germany. And Andreas Daniel was teaching there. Andreas Daniel and Uwe Meusel. And Andreas Daniel did like the high tap knowledge, tapology something. He explained, because he's a student of Sam Weber, and he has this amazing technique, and he's a brilliant composer and musician, and plays the violin and tap dances at the same time. Yeah. And also we just saw on the flyer, we thought, okay, Andreas Daniel is teaching high tech tap something, and you have no idea what it is. So we traveled there, and then that was the first time I heard about, oh, there is this certain kind of technique. And of course he spoke about Sam Weber and wow, and so, and that was like magic, you had to go there, and then you saw, and then it was wow. Yeah. And today this is just, it's difficult to create this magic for people. It's just hard.
Imagine, as you say, how many people who stop with the phone because, they see the videos or the photos and it doesn't look professional enough. They have no clue if the teacher actually is an educator or not, but, just because of the look of it, they stop there because they want the flashiest of the flashiest,
Exactly, yeah.
It's really sad.
Or maybe they I mean, I don't want to disrespect no one, please, but maybe they find a tutorial of someone who does like explains a step on YouTube and shares a step, which is on one side, it's great, but it can also be that then certain people think, well, there are hundreds of tutorials on YouTube, so if I want to really learn, I can check this out and just learn it myself somehow. Yeah, of course. And then they don't go to a school, they maybe don't learn it properly. And I don't want to, it's hard, I don't want to judge it. It's just, again, it's just different. And very quickly, sometimes, as you say, people stop because they see it through this thing in a certain way, and then they decide not to go there. And this is a sad consequence, I think. Just speaking of Andreas Daniel, I don't know if you guys... Oh,
Iselin?
Iselin?
Where are you? ¿Qué ha pasado? Uh-oh. Iselin? Iselin?
What happened?
Alexis, you said to us what happened? Exactly?
Who? I don't know.
That's interesting. She will be back. I need to do something, but this is still going. So, but she's the host. So
she's the host. Where did the host go?
Iselin, where are you? Okay, Alexis, just please, can you say to us what's going on? We can still. What you were saying, Daniel, just in case, like we go. You were saying something.
I was saying, a very crazy story about Andreas Daniel is that the way he discovered tap dance was he saw the movie Tap Dance Kid, and there is a solo that Honey Coles dances, and he was maybe 13 years old when he saw that movie, or 11, I don't remember, maybe 13. He saw Honey Coles dancing, and he decided, I will be a tap dancer. Boom. And he made sure, so what he did, he made sure he found the tape of that movie. Then he had to find a device where he can put the tape in and slow it down. So he had to do, he had to buy those things, find those things. So then he did it. And then he learned the Honey Coles solo of the video without ever knowing, he didn't know that this is a shuffle, or he just learned it by himself, frame by frame. And I think, and he was completely, we say autodidact. So he was like just a self-learner. And until a few years later, he saw that there are tap dance workshops. Okay. And there is someone whose name is Sam Weber. And he thought, and only because in Sam Weber's little biography was that he danced with Honey Coles. There was a little, and so he thought, wow, this is a connection. Sam Weber danced with Honey Coles, and this is why he went to that event. And then his universe like exploded, But also, it's a crazy story how he saw tap dance. He saw it once, this one scene. He made this decision. This is what I will do. It's and I think there are more beautiful stories like this in that time. So yeah.
I had, for example, my path here, Barcelona in that time was maybe more built around companies, I'll say. Well, we had the tab lessons, but I had like no connection with the championships, and the festivals. The first that I knew about was the ones that they were in the city, but not Tapon. Like before that, we had tab festivals in Barcelona. It was like Festival de Claqueta Barcelona. Tada, that's Catalan. And we had like a lot of guest artists. We had Josh, we had Lane, we had Tormisha, we had Derek, Sarah and Lila Petronio.
Nice.
Oh, like 10 years of festivals. So points like, yay! You're back!
It didn't cut the stream?
No. We're like, okay.
I think we
That's great. So we can go.
I just lost internet completely. I had no clue what happened. But it went going. Oh, I'm so happy that it didn't get.
Yeah, we're like, why the host is not here and the talk is going? We're like, But yeah. So what I was saying, I was my like moments of this. So the first thing, like I grew up. I posted like a couple of days ago, like a picture of myself, like little me dancing. So it was this cool.
Yeah,
it was too cute.
You're the one in the middle, no? In the middle.
In the middle. Yeah, it's like
the look was so obviously you. You still make that look.
Yeah, a lot of people do like that look. Is like it's you. Yeah, okay. So I grew up in this class from 10 to maybe 18 or something like 8 years. No contact with nothing else, just the class, just 1 hour a week. And Basilio, the last teacher that I had there in this school, told me like, just go to this place. Yeah, okay. I went there and suddenly it was like a bunch of people in advanced level, like doing like crazy things. It was Ruben, it was Laia, it was Ana Jombar, like all the people that right now we know. And I was like, just dropping there, like, hi. And they were like, who are you? You know, whoa, just slow down. So suddenly I found like a group of people that they were like training in advanced level. So, there's more people out of my 4 ladies, like we're in the room. Yeah, that's interesting. But we grew up, I grew up with Sharon and like the context of company and this kind of festivals. And in one of these festivals came Max Pollack. And Max Pollack like say like, just come to New York. You know, wait, there's something going on there? And like, yes. You know, oh, wow. So we went, Jose Sala and Ana Jombar, we went the 3 of us. The 3 of us. My mind, I spent like 2 weeks in New York. It was not the festival, just like 2 random weeks in September or something like this. And I spent the 2nd week crying. Like, I don't want to leave this place. Can I please like stay here? Like, couldn't stop. It was amazing, like blown away. So I think all of that to point like traveling and meeting new people and new like environments will give you like more like a global sense of the universe that we're calling.
Yeah.
So maybe it can be championship, can be a festival, whatever. And I remember you were talking about like the pullback. Fabrice? No, Victor. Yeah.
The first pullback was Andreas Jakobetz was his name.
Okay.
1 leg. Bam, bam.
My thing is like I went to New York. I went to a class of Joseph Wigan. And we're like, oh, we're fine. And he said like, pull back front, 1 leg. Yo, wait, what? Yo, that's possible? We were like the 3 of us just jumping forward. No sound. Yeah. And all people in the class were shakada, shakada, shakada. And we were like, oh, shit. So it's really interesting how a trip or a new place, you discover like there's a lot of people like training in different things. So just to mention, like, just explore. Mm-hmm. Even you have somebody that is guiding you through this navigation, but just be curious on the things.
Yes.
So I took a lot. I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah, I remember that also. Like the first time I was in a circle, like improvising in a circle. that was also very interesting. That was Thomas Marek from Germany was in Zurich for a workshop. And again, we didn't know who it was. It was just a tap dance workshop from an amazing tap dancer from Germany. And we thought, okay, let's go there. So he, at the end, I was standing right next to him. And also this was, I think all of those first time experiences, they just stick with you. I remember what clothes he was wearing. I know how he looked at me when he finished the step. He did like this little toe thing and he like passed the step on to me. And that was the first time I was in a circle. It's so interesting that just the first, I mean, of course, because it's the first time, it's your first time. Like for you, Joseph Wigan, pull back front, you will never forget this. It's the first time you are in touch with this. And so, and I just think I was always amazed that there were so many first time moments and first time seeing in connection with tap dance. Also, for example, Lukas Weiss, who is a juggler and tap dances at the same time. The first time I saw it, I could not, I didn't believe what is going on, you know. And just to see, okay, this art form can also go in such a direction, in a fusion direction, combine tap dance with another thing, with humor, with emotions, expressing yourself, choreography, improvisation, playing an instrument, tap dancing at the same time, communicating with musicians, doing crazy choreographies, using all kinds of devices, electronic lights, dancing on different surfaces, you know, seeing the tap dogs for the first time, what they did, you know. I'm so thankful for so many open-minded artists, because the thing is, I had never someone on the side of me who told me what is right, what is wrong. So my mother was never, you see this is not tap dancing. This is the real shit, or this is right, this is wrong. Because for her, this was new as well. She grew up in Czech Republic. You are closed in a country in communism where nothing is accessible, only what you know in this country in a crazy time, without connection, global connection, you know. So that's why I'm so thankful that she has this attitude, and this is why, and this impact from her I have until this day. I'm very, very open. I would never put myself, when you ask me, okay, you as a tap dancer, what is your specialty, or what do you do? I don't know what I like the most. I love to choreograph. I love to choreograph and dance those choreographies. I love to learn choreographies. I found my love in improvisation. I love to juggle and tap because I started to work with Lukas, so I had to learn it, you know. Then Max Pollak and people like Andreas Daniel, who were using tap dance notation. When I heard, when I was little, that Max Pollak, that there are composers who are composing for Max Pollak, I have to try this too, you know. So that's why I ended up being in projects where a composer wrote for my feet. You know, I was in a group where we combined tap dance with break dance, you know. I had never someone on the side of me who said, don't ever do that, only do this, you know. And I don't want to, again, I hope no one gets me wrong in this, yeah. That was my past, and that's why maybe I don't have a problem accepting if someone says I hate championships. I don't have a problem with that person. I don't know why. And someone who says I don't want to go to festivals and I don't like to improvise. Okay, then you live on this planet, but it's also, this planet is a part of this tap dance universe somehow. I just never had anyone who said don't do this, you know. I always only had someone go and try and find out, then you know. Yeah. So and the journey, yeah, the journey where really things got bigger was thanks to championships. I don't know if I mean, of course you can imagine a million different ways, and I don't know, how things would have been if you would have not seen this or that. But I think because of the Swiss championship, my interest or my excitement about tap dance got bigger. Yeah, and so I'm very thankful. But one thing I think Estefanía, or I don't remember, or Iselin, you said the competitive way that I mean, of course that also exists. Of course there can be people that are very competitive. They only dance at championships because they have to win. Yeah, of course. And who am I to judge that? This is a person's choice, or someone has this opinion about it. For me personally, it was a challenge, me against me. Like, I want to create something more interesting. And the thing is, because it's a championship, then I always wanted to, how can I say, the reason why I choreographed in a certain way is because I felt this is what I want to dance in this moment in that piece. It was a feeling that I want to do this. But at the same time, you think, okay, I'm going to a championship, and there are a lot of spectacular steps that exist in tap dance vocabulary. So I try to use some of those steps, but it needs to make sense musically for me. It was never, I don't know, 16 wings on one leg just to show that I can do that. But this one wing in this one musical place to finish a phrase or something, I just think that doing this is just a great, it's a great exercise, and you push yourself. I think someone who decides I'm going to compete at a cutting contest, it's very similar. Because you also know on that day is the festival and there's a cutting contest and I want to go. And so you prepare yourself. You want to be sharp. You want to be in shape. You want to have your thick things in your pocket. Of course, you're improvising and you have to react in a different way. But the process, I think, is very similar. If you practice for a cutting contest, I think the goal is actually the way, how do you say, like your path until the cutting contest is actually what you win, because you're practicing, you're in the studio or wherever you practice. And then I think it doesn't matter if you win or you lose, but you won this time that you practice, you got better, you got some steps ahead. In championships is the same. It's amazing to see how much better a student gets, how much more feeling he gets if you are working on a solo with that student, where you have to say every note is important. Make sure we hear that heel and this, and you're rushing, you're dragging. Listen to the music. Come on, this whole process of creating a solo, this is amazing. This is already what you win. At the end, of course, you have to go on stage, you have to perform it, and you try your best. And again, you're very happy when you win, and you can be disappointed when you lose. But actually, you already won. You made progress. Yeah. So I think the championships will always be around. It's just very important how the people that participate, just how they, what attitude they bring. Mm-hmm. Or what is their goal? Yeah. And I have to say, I don't remember being at the tap championship where I really felt like a toxic way of, I heard disgusting stories from ballet competitions where one ballerina like pushed the other and she fell before she went, stuff like this, or from other dance competitions where people are really mean to each other, or really one horrible story I remember, that one dancer took broken glass and put it in the shoe, in the dancing, in the point shoe of a dancer, to really hurt that this is horrible. This is what competition can do to your mind. Yeah. So I'm being I think this is a very important point when you have students. I'm trying my best. I'm really trying my best to have all of my students on the same page regarding this, that this is an art form. Those 7 judges decide whatever they decide. Maybe you will win, and then of course I will be happy for you. But if you don't get to the finale, I'm still very happy for you, because you made it. You practiced your ass off to learn this solo or this duo, and you do it great. And this is already why we are proud of you. And now we'll see. It depends. Maybe even you fall on stage, or whatever. Something can happen on stage. Once I lost my tap shoe on stage at the championship. Yeah, a tap flew off. But just how you look at championships and competitions, I think this is a key topic or a key thing. That trying to look at it, not taking it too serious, not taking the competing part too serious, not taking the results too serious. Be happy if you win, of course, celebrate, but you're not the best tap dancer on this planet. That does not exist,
There's something on the training. For example, when I was a kid, I was growing in ballet dance, classical dance. So the Royal Dance Academy in London?
Yeah.
Like this. So
Yes.
My school decided that that was an extra class. So we took classical dance lessons. We built the choreography for the end of the year, the showcase, blah, blah, blah. And this kind of test and this royal thing was an extra class. And they told me when I was a kid, like, if you only train the system that they built, you will not become anything. It's just a number. So meaning, like, if you repeat the system that they're giving to you, you will miss a lot of things. So it was like an extra thing. So I was thinking, and I think it's that way in tap dancing. Like, they have like regular classes, lessons, and then they build the choreography. But I don't know if there's like communities that they only work in the routine. So just like make it, I don't know, like maybe there's places that they use it like this or different ways. But I think it's a nice approach that having the routine for the competitions, like, that's another lesson. That's a second thing. So you keep your learning process and then you work on that for a specific goal. I don't know. They shared that with me when I was a kid. I was like, that's smart. Like, that makes sense for me. Don't know if it's used on tap dancing.
I think this depends on, because every school has a different way of running the classes, the students. For us, it's always, I mean, we ask if we have a group of kids and they would be excited to participate at the championship, then I think, okay, I'm going to try to do a choreography, and we do like a formation piece, and we do this in this regular class that we have. But it's not for me personally. I try to not only work on that, and when I do a choreography for those kids, for example, I take I take a song where there is a Latin rhythm, for example. So, and I look at it as working on the choreography. I also look at it as a teaching process where, okay, they have to feel this rhythm to be able to dance to this song. So, of course, the goal is to have a number and to show it at those championships. But it's also, what do they learn when they learn this piece? Yeah, maybe I take a step from Lon Chaney and I put it in a place because it fits perfectly, and then I tell them, okay, there was a tap dancer, Lon Chaney. This is his step. We will use it. Let's watch a little clip of him. Here you see him do it. Now we're going to do it. We flip it a little bit. This is Lon Chaney's step. So, you can also integrate those things in. But this is every school. It depends on the teachers of those schools, and the choreographers of those. I'm sure that there are also schools where in the group, in the regular lessons, they just work on. They work on the technique. They learn maybe some standards. They work on many different things. And if they want to compete, you have to have like private lessons for that. Also, it always depends. It's a dialogue with the students and the families also, and if they are interested in it at all. What I think. What? Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What I think, what is really cool is that I just feel we have a very nice togetherness feeling with the other tap dancers and the other tap dance schools here in Switzerland. All of the leaders from the schools are my friends. We many times we danced together at events, at shows, or when I did a show, I invite some of some of them, and they dance in our show. We and when we have the Swiss championship is actually more like a little Swiss tap dance festival where we see each other once a year. We know each other. I know some of them since '98, yeah. And Fabrice, who was my first one of my first tap dance gods today. I mean, it's always beautiful to see him, and we see each other at those tap championships, and we know how much work it is to work with the kids, to work to create the choreography, to teach the choreography, to do the whole process of building a number. We all know how it is, and we respect each other for the great work. And then, of course, there are judges, and there will be a first place and the second and the third place. But I don't know, it's just loose up in Switzerland. It's nice. We are not against each other. I'm very happy that there is a school in Basel, Tanzwerk. I used to go with them to a camp. They did like a 1-week camp where they tapped all day long, and they did all kinds of activities, and all the kids were together there. And I went there sometimes as well, and I taught there for 2-3 days. And I remember some students, they were so little, and now I see them, how you see them every year and how they progress. And I don't know, we don't take it so super serious. And maybe also this is the reason why, I don't know, I have a very good relationship to the whole championship world, because the people that are at the championship are great people. And I think in the US there are a lot of competitions. I mean, the only championships or competitions that I'm really attached to is the one in Switzerland that happens yearly, and is the one in Germany, the World Championship. I mean, I've never had like, I was never at another sort of tap competition, for example, at the US. Or I know that there are a lot of them, but personal connections I just have with those two. So yeah.
Iselin?
Yeah. I think this that you brought up, Estefanía, about specifying if you're doing only choreography, if you're doing repertoire class, these kind of things. I think if you have a general, or at least from my experience, if you have a dance school that has ballet, jazz, everything, then it's much harder to put up classes that are very specific, because you kind of want to cover everything according to just the level. Because you might have one day that is tap with 4 different levels or age groups or whatever. And then you kind of have to cover both choreography, technique, everything in one class. But like, for instance, in our school, which is a pure tap school, we always had like technique class and repertoire class. And for the advanced students, so you have to take also a normal class to go in the repertoire class, these kind of things. And we're expanding it even more, because now my husband, he's a mambo dancer, so we're expanding it to have like more music specific class that you can learn notations and learn about the music and these kind of things, so it can be more specific. But that's because we only focus on one thing. So I think that depends a lot. If you have a school with everything, it's much harder to actually have very specific classes.
So that was special, the thing that I left. No, because it was like we had Monday and Wednesday was like regular ballet class, and then Friday was like preparing the exam. That's it. It was separated. So I was thinking,
in school have like competition classes specifically to prepare you to competitions.
Exactly. So you're not losing your education in the art form, and you have the space for the goal specifically. So I had this in ballet, and I was like curious that maybe, but yeah, I understand like every dance school has their way, but I don't know, it was like a really nice approach to have like separately. And the thing, like when I was a kid, like they told me like that's different, that you're learning like a routine to get like a paper that it's saying to you, yeah, you did it, and that's it. But doesn't mean like you're a good dancer, so you need to go to the regular classes and go to the showcase and blah blah blah. Yeah, that was interesting.
But I think maybe that's a nice approach if you have the availability to actually do that. if you really want to expand, I think that's pretty, because then you can focus on one thing at a time. But of course, if you don't, then try to give a little bit of everything in one class. Like you said with Lon Chaney, that if you take a step from him, at least show who you're taking it from, even though you're doing a choreography.
Yeah, and this is sometimes it's hard because our classes normally it's 60 minutes, and then there is so much there. As you said, you somehow you try to fit in everything and talk about everything, and sometimes, I mean, it's harder. Sometimes it's easier. I must say, for example, what was very cool, a cool side effect of Corona, for example, was that last year we created a lot of numbers for our students for the championships, and then the championships they couldn't happen, because of Corona, and then we, with for example, with a duo, then I said, okay, come, now we don't have we are not in a hurry to finish this number and have it perfect, because there is no championship, but they still wanted to come and practice it. So I said, okay, the first half hour you guys will jam to warm up. So they are very young, and and we went through the whole thing. Okay, you 2 bars for you, 2 bars for you. Okay, now you go to 4 bars. I have a drum set here, so then sometimes I sit at the drums and I play a little stop time for them, and then we were improvising, and it was so nice that there was more time to work on that, but then it was also cool to find the connection to the piece that they're learning. So I said, okay, take a step from your duo, one step that you do, one step that you like in this choreography, take it out, and now try to use it somehow. When you dance your 4 bars, try to put this word in somehow. Try it. Okay, now maybe you should practice it on the left, because depending on the situation and where you are, you have to do it with your left. So I discovered this, and that was so cool. The students started to, because many times they are afraid of improvisation. Many times they are a little scared of this topic. But now, just showing them, hey, it goes hand in hand. You can work on both and with both. A step that you learn in this piece that you really like, put it in your pocket, in your vocabulary, and try to get used to using it when you improvise. So again, it's like the 2 worlds, or the 2 things: the improvisation, choreography, festivals, championship. You can learn everywhere something. So creating a number that is meant to be for a championship, okay, but you can do it also in a way where they learn something about an old master, because you use a step, and I don't know, or a certain kind of rhythm, or you take a song that swings, and so now they have to learn how to swing. And so you can work with all of those things somehow, and make sure they learn as much as possible. But every time, I mean, that's the thing. The longer I tap dance, and I'm sure everybody feels the same, the longer I do this, the smaller you feel, because the more the longer you do, the more you know that you don't know. So it's it's crazy. Still, to me, this art form is unbelievable, and it's expanding. The universe, it's expanding, and so it's nice to swim around and visit all kinds of planets.
So we have had a lot of comments, and I know people are itching about questions. Reason why I didn't bring all of it up here is because then we're gonna slip over to next topic that we're gonna start about next time. That's why I haven't brought up the questions that's been asked. So we will cover these questions on the next talk on next Friday, which will be, for instance, like Kate is mentioning about judges that don't tap, which is an issue, all this kind of politics around the championship pros and cons. And choreography is the main point of the next time we plan to talk about. So then we will also touch the things that Emilia is talking about, like specific choreographies for competitions, or, you know, like she says, unfortunately, she knows some cases when even most beautiful and touching chorus didn't get good notes in the competitions. So we will touch all of this on our next talk, because I'm afraid if we start touching this now, we're going to go for 2 more hours.
What's the time? Oh, wow. Okay.
So we have a good plan for the next time. And if you guys come up with anything more than the question that you already asked and we noted down, just text us. We will save it and we will bring it up in the next talk for sure. I think we covered a lot of good stories, and I think it's really nice to hear your story, Daniel. And I think people really appreciate it and are amazed about all the things that you have to share.
Thank you so much. I apologize. My English is also not on top, and I sometimes can't.
Neither of us is English here, so
so we have Norway, Switzerland, Spain. Great, and we're talking in English.
I was gonna throw the ball to you, Daniel, when I saw the conversation going over to Spanish here, since you were so good.
Sí, muy bien.
Oh,
No.
I didn't read the comments. I need to read them because it was like too much for me. So I'll read them. But Iselin goes through is all these things about the choreography, and they're talking about this. No, I will.
No,
or there's something else.
From what I picked up, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but from
what I picked up, Spanish?
It was when we were talking about ballet and stuff like this. So my mother-in-law, she was talking about tapping Guatemala and the discipline of ballet, and I saw Kate answering something in Spanish. I didn't know Kate spoke Spanish, so yeah. That's how far I get in Spanish.
Yeah, and there's a thing like why we open the conversation around this and why we have Daniel here. It's like maybe we're like there's like a common thought like, oh, championships are bad, but if there's the way that you connect with the art form because it's the only thing that is in your town, why is that bad? Just saying that, like, and I know there's like a lot of like you connect differently, but specifically the way of Daniel. It's really it's nice. Like you can hear and feel the happiness and the joy and the passion, and it was brought to him through the competitions. So it's not bad. Like I know there's people like have like toxic things inside of this thing, but to give an example that this is possible, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, thank you very much. But I think I'm not the only one. I think there are a lot of tap dancers right now that I mean, for example, the D'Angelo brothers. They grew up in Riza. I remember them. You know, amazing tap dancers from Czech Republic that started in Riza, started doing this thing. I remember Victor Kuno said once, I can't quote him perfectly, but he said it very well once. He said, you know, those championships, they are sort of like a type of school that you go through. Yeah, you learn how to perform, you learn how to learn a choreography or choreograph yourself, put it together. Make sure it's clean, it's sharp. You go there, you present it. If you do that a couple of years, you learn so much. For me, after 2009, I was not interested anymore in creating a solo of 2 minutes and 15 seconds and like making it crazy. I was more interested, okay, what do I do with a bass player and me, and it's us on stage and we improvise? How do I do that? What is this journey about? It just, from a moment on, a new question arises. Yeah. And I think it happens to many. It happened to me, but it happened to many other friends of mine who grew up in Riza at those competitions. And then they just naturally came to a point where they are, okay, we did this now. We won a lot of titles. The next question comes up: improvisation, musicality. and then so many other things, studying the masters, inventing new things, yeah. So I think it's just, you can look at it as a certain type of a school type of thing, or just that you are in this certain type of, you go through that a couple of years, you learn a bunch of things, and then you move on with your journey, and
focus on the positivity of it and what you can bring with you.
Exactly.
So next time we will for sure dig deeper into that area. So I bet it's going to be more of a debate next time. So I'm waiting for people's opinion and comments. Then we will tag you along and bring up your questions for next time. I think it's going to be more questions then.
We mentioned like punctuations and choreography, and I think both, like for example, choreography. Even you're in competition or not, I think it's a topic that it's good for everybody. So maybe tips for competition can give you like idea for yourself in for a show or something like that, or inverse. Like if you're in competition and you hear people like creating for different theater shows, different kind of events, like I think it's se nutre.
Yeah, it's
nourish.
It's nourishing both ways somehow.
Yeah, like
but I understand. Yeah. I mean, next time, I don't want to spend too much time talking, but we can also speak in Switzerland. One year I had the idea to write a new judging system, and we actually and there was I mean, it's not just my judging system. I wrote like the first draft of it, but then with a lot of input from other people in Switzerland, everybody was happy to try. And another thing that is coming up, we are adding more challenges to the Swiss championships. Cutting contests will be a part of the championships. Vintage routines are going to be a part of the championships. More crew battles are going. Many of those ideas are also from Daniel Borak, who at the moment with Sherlyn Miller, they are the presidents of the Swiss Tap Association. So we are also, I think the championships can also have an update. They can be updated and new things can be brought in. So yeah, one last thing, just something that came to my mind. I think one beautiful thing that happened in the past is also, I remember 2012, for the first time, I was asked by Nancy Chippendale from Boston, who is they have a big school, they do a lot of competitions, but that was the first time I traveled to the US to teach at the festival in US. That was a huge honor for me, and that was in Boston. And that was also interesting that this is someone I know from Riza, someone you like compete with, but she invited so many people to her studio, to her house, and a lot of people, like for example Sarah Reich and Maud Arnold, I met them there. So people from again other planets, where I met them at an event of someone who's from the championship world and organized the event. So there have been a lot of nice, many, I crossed nice paths that crossed because I have a connection to competition, to this world championship. Again, Sarah, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. The first time I've met Sarah was at the LA Tap Festival. That was the first time. I'm sorry. She had long hair still there. I remember. But the first time I talked to her and we had like a conversation, or also with Maud Arnold, having a chance to chat with each other, was actually at this event, at this festival in Boston, organized by Nancy Chippendale. So it's interesting how there are different worlds, but sometimes the paths they cross, and then so being open. I will always follow my mother's energy in, hey, be open, go and see, try. Don't just say no. Go there, try it, see it for yourselves, and then you can see. Then you can say, oh, this is nothing for me, but just go there.
Be curious and try.
Be curious and try, and then
Oh, that's a good quote.
If you don't know, if you don't try, you don't know. That's
I think that's a good note to finish off.
Yeah.
Stay with that.
Yeah, we'll stay there. We'll share also a little history thing that we found around the competition and the championship for the next. We're saving it.
Thank you, everybody who joined today. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us. We're so excited by next Friday already. Same time, next Friday.
Yes.
See you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take good care. Bye.